The top 10 point guards of all time really aren't debated. The only debate people might have with the all-time point guard list is the order of the top 10. That all depends on what you value most in a point guard. Those traits can be among scoring, playmaking, or defense. A player who could do all three would be greatly valued. To discuss this debate, we made a top 10 list of the best point guards to ever play the game. Before we get into the actual list, we have 3 honorable mentions. The first one is, of course, the greatest player of all time, and Alex Caruso. He just couldn't be in this list because his greatness was too much. The next player was Ricky Rubio, because he's just the best point guard in the league today. And then the second best point guard in the league today, Rajon Rondo. You can't have a top 10 point guard list without these 3 at least being in your honorable mentions. But coming in at number 10 from the all-time point guard list, we have Steve Nash. For his career, he averaged 14 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds. He's one of the most efficient shooters of all time, being part of the club with only 6 other players. This club is the 50-40-90 club. He is only 1% away on his field goals from averaging 50-40-90 for his entire career. Not to mention the 7-second or less offense that the Suns played at years before it was the norm. He is a 5-time assist leader, and he got these awards in 05, 06, 07, 2010, and 2011. All time, he is third on the assist and won back-to-back MVPs in 2005 and 2006, robbing Kobe of one. For his back-to-back years, he averaged 16, 11, and 3. In his first MVP year, he led the Suns to 60 wins, and the next year ended with 52 wins. All in all, Nash was years ahead of the NBA with the pace at which he played and the way he shot the ball. Moving on to number 9, we have the drunken Jason Kidd. For his career, he averaged 12 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. He won the 1995 Rookie of the Year with averages of 9 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. The only competition he had was Grant Hill. He is second all-time in assists, and with that, he was the assist leader 3 times in a row from 1999 to 2001. He was able to carry the Brooklyn Nets to the finals and playoffs multiple times, but did not win a championship until years later when he went on that ride with Dirk, beating Kobe, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. Alright, moving on to the number 8 spot, you have Brody himself, also known as Russell Westbrook. Westbrook is one of the most exciting NBA players of all time to watch. He is the most athletic point guard of all time, only being matched by a prime Derrick Rose. He averages 24 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds throughout his career. He was the assist leader in both 2018 and 2019, and was the scoring champion in 2015 when KD went out with an ankle injury, and in 2017 when KD left and went to the Warriors. He won MVP in 2017, as well as becoming the first player to average a triple-double in the modern NBA since Oscar Robertson. He carried that OKC team to the playoffs, who realistically had no business being there. The main criticism against him is that he is a shot-chucking stat padder, and while the shot chucker may be true, it is really hard to stat pad because you still have to get those rebounds and assists. For number 7, we have John Stockton. John wasn't the best scorer in the league, but he was a great playmaker, leading the league in assists for 9 consecutive years from 1987 to 1996, and he was a great defender, leading the league in steals in 1988 and 1991. John had an amazing teammate in Karl Malone. Malone provided a nasty pick-and-roll offense where all Stockton had to do was get Malone the ball. Of course, that didn't matter at the end of the day because Jordan and company came in and whooped that ass. Moving on to number 6, we have Isaiah Thomas. Not the 5'11 Isaiah Thomas, or the 5'6 Isaiah Thomas, however tall he is. Not the midget. The 6'1 bad boy Pistons one. Isaiah was a defensive beast. He spent 8 hours checking Jordan in the throat every time he tried to drive in the paint. He also averaged 2 steals a game throughout his entire career. In 1982, he made the all-rookie team. By 85, just 3 short years later, he was leading the league in assists. Isaiah won his first ring in 1989. Then he won the ring the following year, and that year he won the Finals MVP, averaging 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists in the playoffs, along with 1 steal. Isaiah Thomas was really good at feeding his teammates, and he is ranked 9th all-time assist with 9,061. Coming in at number 5, we have the glove, Gary Payton. Payton was a good scorer, averaging 16 points throughout his career. The glove was one of the greatest defenders of all time, being 4th all-time in steals with 2,445, and he's the only point guard to win Defensive Player of the Year, and the only other guard in general to win Defensive Player of the Year is Michael Jordan. In 1996 is when he won this award, and that same year he led the league in steals. He's number 10 on the all-time assist board with 8,524. The glove truly is one of the greatest point guards ever. And at number 4, this one might be recency bias, but it's Chris Paul, CP3 himself. He won Rookie of the Year with averages of 16 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. For his career overall, he averaged 18.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists. He's great on both the offensive and defensive end. He demonstrated this as he was both a 6-time steal champion in 08, 09, 2011, 2012, and 2013 and 2014. But on the other end, he was a 4-time assist leader in 08, 09, 2014, and 2015. He made 9 All-NBA defensive teams for his steals. The main stain on his career is his health in the playoffs, causing an end to both the Lob City era with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan in LA, and the CP and James Harden duo experiment. His hamstrings just gave out and ended both of these, if otherwise fun to watch teams. He may never get a ring now that he is with this young OKC team stacked in the Western Conference, but anything can happen. In the beginning of the season, the OKC were projected not to make the playoffs, and they had like a 0.02% chance of making it, and him being an all-star this year got them to like the 5th seed, I think, at the moment. Anyways, at number 3, we have the Big O, Oscar Robertson. He won Rookie of the Year in 1961 with averages of 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. As a rookie, he averaged 30 points, 10 rebounds, and like 9.9 assists or something crazy. He averaged 30 points for his first 8 seasons in the league and was the first person to average a true triple-double in a season when he did it in 1962 with averages of 31, 11, and 12. His second season, he had 31, 11, and 12. This guy was an absolute monster in all aspects of the game. He won his first MVP in 1964 and pretty much averaged a noble triple-double season stats of 31, 11, and 9.9. If he would have got 2 more assists that entire season, he would have averaged a triple-double as well. He was a 6-time assist leader in 61, 62, 64, 65, 66, and 69. He is by far the best point guard in both Kings and Bucks history, and he won a chip only in 1971 with Kareem. In those playoffs, he averaged 18 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. Coming in at number 2, we have Steph Curry. We're all aware of Steph's godlike ability to shoot the 3, but Curry proved to be one of the greatest shooters from anywhere on the court. He can finish. He's fast and can handle the ball. He can't really dunk or defend, but he's not asked to. He's a great finisher, great mid-range shooter, and great three-point shooter, obviously. That's where he is most gifted, offensively. Steph won 2 MVPs back-to-back in 2015 and 2016. In 2015, he averaged 24 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. In the finals of that year, Kyrie and Kevin Love were injured, and Steph took advantage by dropping 28, 6, and 5. His next MVP season in 2016, he averaged 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Also, he had a 50-40-90 season and won the scoring title. This was also the year where he became the NBA's first and so far only unanimous MVP. In the playoffs that year, he notoriously blew a 3-1 lead to LeBron after coming back from a 3-1 deficit to KD. The next season, KD joined the team, and they won the chip. Steph averaged 28, 6, and 6 that season, and they won the next year as well, and he averaged 25, 5, and 6. In 2019, his luck ran out, And this was because KD went down with a torn Achilles and Clay went down with the torn ACL in Game 5 and Game 6 of those finals. This caused them to lose in the season, and then this current season that's been Ronified, he suffered a broken hand after Aaron Baines fell on him in the beginning of the season, like the first 2 months, and he sat out the rest of the season. Out of all of his championships, he never won Finals MVP, and that went to Iggy in 2015, LeBron in 2016, and then KD in 17 and 18. That is one of the biggest stains on his career, is the fact that he never had a Finals MVP. And then this one should be pretty obvious, you guys. It's Magic Johnson at number 1. Magic Johnson is without a doubt the greatest point guard in the history of the NBA. Throughout his career, he averaged 20, 11, and 7 with half a block and 2 steals. We know that he's one of the best passers of all time, and he proved that by leading the league in assists in 1983, 1984, 1986, and 1987. He was also amazing defensive play, being the steals leader in 81 and 82 back-to-back, and he provided a great body in the paint. Even though Magic was 6'8", he possessed the foot speed to keep up with guards on the perimeter. With that type of play on both ends of the court, he was able to win MVP in 1987, 1989, and 1990. In 1987, he averaged 24, 12, and 6.5, with 1.5 steals and half a block. This was his best year in terms of scoring the ball. In 89, he averaged 22 points, 12.3 assists, and 6.8 rebounds, with 1.5 steals and about half a block. In 1990, Magic had a similar year to his last, putting up 22, 12 assists, and 6 rebounds. Magic is a 5-time NBA champion, and he took home the Finals MVP in 1980, putting up 21, 11, and 8.5 while he was only a rookie. This is one more accolade that proves his greatness. He also won the Finals MVP in 1982 and 1987. In his first Finals performance ever, he averaged 21, 11, and 8.5. In that series, he played 3 positions: point guard, shooting guard, and center. He subbed in center in the final game, Game 6, because Kareem went down with an ankle injury. And at the end of the day, Magic was able to do whatever he needed to do to lead his team to success, and that's why he is not only the best point guard, but a top 5 to 10 player of all time. That is all, everybody. Peace.